boys and girls. How's everybody doing this morning? Today's lesson is a mother's faith. A mother's faith is the lesson for April 28th, 2024, and it's spring lesson number 9. And you are in Miss Kathy's class, and MOG and I are so glad to see you. Today's lesson, let's see, it comes from Matthew, the 15th chapter, the 21st verse through the 18th verse. Wait a minute, it must be reversed. Let me check on that. Our key verse for today is Jesus said to the woman, "Woman, you have great faith. Your request is granted." And her daughter was healed at that moment. Matthew, the 15th chapter, the 28th. Now, boys and girls, faith is trust and belief in God and Jesus Christ. Trust and belief in God give you hope. So, during challenging and sad times, faith helps you to never give up. Now let's discuss the times when you struggle with something like sickness, a challenging class, or any other difficulties that you might care to share. You can stop the video and have this discussion as a class. Now today's lesson is about a woman, a Gentile woman, who had a persistent or determined faith when she needed Jesus' help for her daughter. Gentiles were foreign people who were not part of the Jewish race. However, this woman did not let being a Gentile stop her from reaching out and asking Jesus for help. Now, before we get started, we're going to make a faith bracelet. You're going to find all the directions on this website, prettylittlesocial.com. So, as you can see, you'll probably need a cord. We had something like this in an earlier video. You'll need some name beads or letter beads, and you're going to spell out F-A-I-T-H on your bracelet. So you can make it any color with the other beads all the way around, and then use the name bracelet or letter beads to form the word faith in the middle of the bracelet when you follow the directions for this from this website. It's prettylittlesocial.com, and you're going to go to letter bead stretch bracelets, do it yourself, DIY. That's what that means. Before we get into the lesson good today, we're going to start with prayer time. Prayer time today is your turn to lead the prayer, either in class or as you pray by yourself if you're watching this by yourself. We're going to start with the words to know. The first one is Canaanite. That's someone from Canaan, which is an ancient region in the Middle East. You notice a lot of these the names of these people live with I-T-E. Hey, you might want to research that and see why. Well, it was located near Israel, Palestine, and Syria, where they are today. The Canaanites were descendants of the Canaan, Noah's grandson. Gentile, someone who is not Jewish. Both Jews and Gentiles became believers of Jesus. Now we're going to read from the source. I don't have our reader today, so I'm going to read it myself. You can follow along in your NIV Bible. Leaving that place, Jesus withdrew to the region of Tyre and Sidon. A Canaanite woman from that vicinity came to him, crying out, "Lord, Son of David, have mercy on me. My daughter is demon possessed and suffering terribly. Jesus did not answer a word. So his disciples came to him and urged him, send her away, for she keeps crying out after us. Now you also have to understand that these people did not talk with Gentiles at that time. And then there's a woman too. Come on, lady, go away. He answered, I was sent only to the lost sheep of Israel. The woman came and knelt before him. Lord, help me, she said. He replied, it is not right to take the children's bread and toss it to the dogs. Now, what he was saying was he was only supposed to speak to people of Israel, the Jews of Israel, and not to the Gentiles, and give it's like his words would be wasted on them. Or it's like giving the children's bread and tossing it away to the dogs. Yes, it is, Lord, she said. Even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from their master's table. Then Jesus said to her, Woman, you have great faith. Your request is granted. And her daughter was healed at that moment. Key verse. Jesus said to the woman, Woman, you have great faith. Your request is granted. And her daughter was healed at that moment. Now notice that first time he says the woman in this paragraph or in this statement, it's in brackets, and we remember what the brackets are for, right? It's going to show us who he's talking to. That means that part is not written in the Bible. We do it for the lesson so we can know who he's talking to. And sometimes we have words in the brackets so we'll know who is talking, don't we? A Mother's Faith is our lesson book version of the scripture for today. A Canaanite, non-Jewish Gentile woman cried out to Jesus, Lord, Son of David, please help me. My daughter has an evil spirit and she is suffering. Why is she calling him the Son of David? Well, Jesus did come from the line of David. He was King David's great, 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 great. You have to say that 42 times. Grandson, and on the earthly plane, right? So back in those days, and sometimes we still do, people like we call Abraham the father of many. Well, it also means that he was a grandfather, a great grandfather, and so on. But you call him at the start the father. So since David was the great, 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 they call him the father of Jesus's family. No matter how far down the line he came in the family. Okay. And there are a lot of cultures that still do that. There are African cultures and Middle Eastern cultures that still do this. And I believe the native culture in our country do that as well, if I remember reading on this some time ago. Jesus didn't answer the woman. At that time, Jesus' duty was to the people of Israel and not to the Gentile people. His followers went to Jesus and begged him to tell the woman to leave. She was following them everywhere and shouting, oh, look at this guy. It looks like he's saying, Lord, will you please make her go away? She's getting on our nerves. She's annoying. Jesus told the woman, God sent me only to the lost sheep, the people of Israel. The woman bowed before Jesus and cried again, Lord, Please help me. Jesus told her, It is not right to take the children's bread and give it to the dogs. Jesus did not want to take the Israelites' people's blessing and toss them like people toss good food to their pets. The woman said to Jesus, Yes, Lord, but even dogs eat the scraps of food that fall from their masters' tables. Jesus said, Woman, you have great faith. I will do what you have asked me to do. And at that moment, the woman's daughter was healed. Questions. What did the woman want Jesus to do? She wanted him to heal her daughter who was suffering. What did Jesus tell the woman just before he healed her? He told her that she had great faith. He also said some other things, right? About not wanting to throw the bread that's for the children to the dogs. Okay. The contemporary story and exploring the story in Ruby's lab. Come join us. Eliza walked with her family through the church's spring festival. There were games, food, and music. Everyone from the community was there, celebrating with the entire church community. When Eliza saw some of her friends from school, she begged her parents to let her go over and play with them. The second they said it was okay, Eliza was off laughing with her friends and exploring the festival. Oh, look, Jenny, one of Eliza's friends said as she pointed to someone standing alone. Eliza remembered seeing the girl in her class. She was new to the school and didn't speak much English. She always sat alone and didn't say very much. That's Sandria, Eliza said. She just came to the neighborhood a few weeks ago. She's all alone, Jenny whispered. That's because she doesn't understand what anyone is saying, Marlena replied, clicking her tongue. So I think we should bring her along, Eliza suggested. So do I, Jenny said in agreement. No one should be alone at a festival. I guess, Marlena replied with a shrug. Eliza and Jenny went over to Sandria, and invited her into their group. Now, where were Eliza and her family enjoying the festival? That's right, at the church's spring festival. Who did she see with her friends? Eliza saw a girl from school named Sandria. What did they decide to do for Sandria? Yes, they decided to go and get her and have her join them. That was a nice thing to do, wasn't it? And now it's time for exploring the story in Ruby's lab.
Exploring the story in Ruby's lab. Hello everyone, this is Ruby. Do you know what the word persistent means? It means that you never give up, even when facing impossible odds. This lesson is an important one about persistence. The woman had faith that Jesus could help her daughter, and she did not give up even when he essentially told her no. It's the same way with experiments. When you are unsuccessful, you have to tweak something and try again and again until you have a successful result. Many successful experiments come as a result of many attempts and many failures. Just keep trying. Hey, why don't you tell me all about times that you were persistent? You can write to me at my post office box. Drop me a letter with some artwork at P.O. Box 74514, Baton Rouge, Louisiana 70874. P.O. Box 74514, Baton Rouge, Louisiana 70874. Or you can contact me by my favorite means of communication. That's at my email address at rubyredpanda@mail.com. That's rubyredpanda. I told you Ruby Red Panda. I said a Ruby Red Panda at mail.com. The end.
Now here's a page, our coloring page today, and you can find this if your teacher hasn't already found this for you and printed it out, or if you don't have a book, you can also find it at this website that's listed down here below. It's called https://paulagoins.blogspot.com. Okay, and it's on the lesson that is dated for April 2024, and you'll see it for a spring lesson number 9. Oh, and what I really like for you to do is to do your own pictures. I like pictures that you do yourself. If you want to send a picture to me, that would be great. I'd like to see your own version of the artwork for today's lesson. Now, this is a word search. You like word searches? So here's what you can do. You can stop the video and do this out of your book, or just pause it on this page if you don't have a book and see what words that you can find, okay? And then I'm going to come back and we'll see if we have the same words. You'll see them being circled in a few seconds. Lesson review for April 28th, 2024. Lesson number 9. The key verses. Jesus said to the woman, "Woman, you have great faith. Your request is granted." And her daughter was healed at that moment. Matthew, the 15th chapter, the 28th verse. All through the Old Testament, the Israelites were commanded to keep a distance from the Canaanites and other foreign people. They were not to speak to Gentiles. They were not to speak to Samaritans. They weren't supposed to speak to anybody because they worship false gods. And you can look in Leviticus, the 18th chapter and the 3rd verse, and check on that. Who wants to do that? Okay. That woman named Jesus as the son of David, you can see in chapter 15, verse 22, that's kind of important spiritually, theologically, because Matthew believed that the son of David is the prophesied Messiah. He was foretold in the Bible to be the Messiah, and because it was going to be a great 42 generations down the line great grandson of King David. So this wasn't an accidental thing to happen in Jesus's ministry. It wasn't coincidental. It wasn't accidental. This was supposed to happen. Okay. God has everything happen for a reason. Jesus' ministry was to help Israel so that they could follow in his steps, the people there. And he calls all of us to step out of our comfort zone, place our faith in the limitless God, and reach out to those that are like on the sidelines in the margins. You know what comfort zone is? That's a place that you step out of when you stop doing the things that you're used to, that you feel safe doing, that are comfortable to you. And you do something that might be unusual and out of your usual habit of things to do. Like, I talk about us going to the prison ministry, to the prisons all the time. Initially, everybody that was in it had to step out of a comfort zone and go to a place where they were not used to going, a place that people claim is dangerous to go to among people that we don't know. And sometimes that's what we have to do because God calls us to do that. He calls all of us to step out of our comfort zone. And sometimes just doing the right thing is stepping out of our comfort zone. Things that we know are the right thing to do. The girls at the spring fair may have been stepping out of their comfort zone to go and befriend a girl who does not speak their language and be friendly to her and have her to come with them and enjoy the spring fair. It could be kind of scary to speak to someone or try to communicate with someone when you don't speak their language, isn't it? So I have to show this page because Miss Adrian, Sister Lee, got our graphics from this page today. All right, boys and girls. So MOG and I are ready to get off and read some more chapters in our Bible. Hopefully are you in the New Testament or the Old, mister? Okay. Anyway, you can write to me at Miss Kathy's Class, P.O. Box 74514, Baton Rouge, Louisiana 70874. Or email me at misskathysclass@mail.com. We'll be looking forward to hearing from you and seeing some of that lovely artwork that you do. Keep sending that to me in your letters. And since we've got to go, I love you. Emoji loves you. God loves you. There's nothing you can do about it. Right? Bye-bye.